There's a funny little story about Greg Louganis. When he was a child, he was petrified of snakes, but he didn't like being afraid of anything, so he saved his money and bought a boa constrictor. He fed it dead chicks every day until he got over his fear. Eccentric? You bet. Extreme? For sure. Does this illustrate the kind of single-minded focus it takes to be a champion? Absolutely. Meet Greg Louganis. His ability to stay focused under pressure catapulted him to diving dominance. His unlikely story of becoming a back-to-back double Olympic gold medal champion makes him the greatest diver in the history of the sport. Louganis was born in San Diego in 1960 to 15-year-old teenage parents. At 8 months old, he was adopted by the Louganis family, where he joined an older sister. Childhood brought many challenges for young Louganis. He was teased for his Samoan ethnicity. He had asthma, allergies, dyslexia, and a stutter. But he found solace in gymnastics and dance. He loved it. He took his talents to the deck of the family pool and practiced his tumbles on the diving board. His parents, eager to help their son, and also so he didn't hurt himself, got him into diving lessons. 2 years after his first lesson, Louganis scored a perfect 10 in Colorado Springs, Colorado, at the 1971 Junior Olympics national competition. He was just 11 years old. But there were continual struggles out of the pool for this young diving phenom. He tried to quiet his personal demons and depression with drinking and drugs. Eventually, all the time spent alone in daily diving practices deepened his focus. He chose discipline over substances, and this success in diving competitions developed his self-confidence too. It wasn't the competitions that motivated him, though. He says he was interested in how far he could push himself. He once said, "My body, measurements, muscle composition, I was blessed with that. The rest was hard work, getting in the pool, rain or shine, putting the hours in." In 1975, Louganis moved in with his coach, Dr. Sammy Lee, to adhere to a strict training schedule. Coach Lee, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist himself, had seen Louganis' perfect 10 dive a few years back in Colorado Springs. He saw the potential and believed he could help get Louganis onto the Olympic podium. At just 16 years old, Louganis was the best U.S. diver and headed to the 1976 Montreal Olympics with great expectations. He won a silver medal in platform diving and placed 6th in the springboard. But this performance for Louganis was unacceptable. He wanted more and came home from Montreal feeling like he'd failed. This fueled his training regimen, and he rebounded with even more fervor. Hoping a fresh start might be what he needed to get refocused again, Louganis headed off to the University of Miami on a diving scholarship. He put together a string of wins over the next few years. In addition to his 47 national AAU titles, he won the world platform title in 1978, with 4 more world titles to follow. He won both the springboard and platform title in the 1979 Pan American Games. He was primed and ready to take on the world for the 1980 Moscow Olympic Games. He was ready to win an Olympic gold medal. But sometimes, there are things we just can't control, and this time around, it was the 1980 Olympics. President Carter called for a U.S. boycott of the Olympics to serve as a protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. It was another Olympic disappointment for Louganis. Louganis moved back to his home state, transferring to UC Irvine. He teamed up with coach Ron O'Brien, head of the renowned Mission Viejo Swim Club, and refocused once again, training with passion and purpose. At the 1982 World Championships, Louganis earned a perfect 10 from all 7 judges, making him the first diver in a major international meet to achieve such a feat. Louganis graduated with a theater degree and continued to dominate diving on both a national and international stage for the next 5 years. he finally got his chance for another Olympics at the 1984 LA Games. He won the gold medal for both springboard and platform diving. In addition, he became the first person to pass the 700-point mark in both events. Actually, his score of 710.91 still holds the record for most points scored on the platform. His gold in the springboard was the most lopsided win in the history of the Games. Because of his outstanding Olympic performance, Louganis was awarded the Sullivan Award, given annually to the best amateur athlete in the United States. But what people mostly remember this diving great for was his performance in the next Olympic Games, in Seoul, in 1988. He was the overwhelming favorite headed into the Games, having not lost on the platform or springboard for 3 years. Late in the preliminaries, he was leading in the springboard competition. For his 9th dive, he attempted a reverse 2.5 somersault pike. He launched into the air, just as he'd done thousands of times before. But this time, he didn't jump far enough out, and as he began his descent, his head thudded onto the diving board. He fell into the pool below, to gasps and a hushed crowd. Blood poured out of the gash in his head. He only had a few minutes to decide what to do. Should he withdraw? Could he even bring himself to dive again? But ever the focused athlete, Louganis told his coach, "We worked too long and hard to get here. I don't want to give up without a fight." He was back on the board 35 minutes later, his head sewn back together with temporary stitches. He performed his reverse somersault, earning him the highest score of the night. After the prelims, he went to the hospital for treatment and for a waterproof patch. The finals were the next day. Louganis showed up to play the next day. His victory was a landslide. He won his back-to-back gold medal for springboard. A week later, he entered the final round of the platform event, trailing the leader by 3 points. But Louganis rose to the occasion, nailing the most difficult dive in his program, a reverse 3.5 somersault. He took the lead by a mere 1.14 points, and won his back-to-back gold medal in the platform as well. This comeback earned him the title Athlete of the Year by ABC's Wide World of Sports. Without question, Greg Louganis is the GOAT in the diving world. He dominated the sport for nearly a decade. His ability to stay laser-focused, even after cracking his head open in the middle of competition, and then culminating into back-to-back double gold medals, is an astounding feat. But Louganis is humble about his diving success. He says, "I don't want to be remembered as the greatest diver who ever lived. I want to be able to see the greatest diver. I hope I live to see the day when my records are broken." Thanks for watching Heartbeats on the Sports Beat. If you enjoyed this video, please click to subscribe to our channel and hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to tap the notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when we post our next inspiring sports story.